Hiya and welcome to today's video in which I'll ramble about the Fantastic Beasts series. The Fantastic Beasts series has been on my mind a lot over the last few weeks, and I feel like I just need to get my thoughts out there because otherwise I'll just get stuck in a loop of thinking about it for 2 years. So this is an entirely skippable video that might not actually be worth a lot, but I just need to get my thoughts out there, and also I think this will be interesting to look back on once Fantastic Beasts 3 is actually eventually out. So earlier this year it was announced on Pottermore that Fantastic Beasts 3 won't be released until the 12th of November 2021, which is still quite sad to me, but I understand the reasons. There's a video there going in depth about it, and I do in the whole want the movie to be good, so I understand it. I'm just too excited for this series for me to be able to deal with it all that well. Basically, right about now, if the movie was being released in a year's time, we would be getting the title and maybe a first look photo, and I was kind of emotionally ready for that because of the sort of 2-year cycle I've gotten myself into with the Fantastic Beasts series. But now this will be postponed for a year, and maybe the title will be released in like half a year instead of a year, just to sort of spread it out a bit more, but it's still longer to wait. I really missed the excitement about the Fantastic Beasts series and so many people discussing Harry Potter together. Obviously I still have random chats about Harry Potter with strangers, and we still have Lumos announcing a competition a couple of days ago as well, and Harry Potter is still going, Bloomsbury are still publishing more and more books and whatever. But I'm just missing the excitement. When the first look photo and the name of these movies are released, the whole internet pretty much catches wind of it, if not is entirely excited for it. I want to know those things just to satisfy my own curiosity, but also to be able to come up with theories. Obviously the title of the movie is meant to be representative of the whole thing. Crimes of Grindelwald wasn't really, but I'd like to know what the next step is, and we will know eventually. I'm just so stuck in the Fantastic Beasts world that I'm constantly thinking about it with no information. Well, there is some information that will be somewhere between 1927 and 1945, and it will be somewhere in the world, and there will be some of the characters in it, but I just want to know. Chances are we'll be in Brazil, or China, or Germany, and it'll be like 1930, sort of mid-1930s I reckon, and I hope we find out who Ramble is actually playing. The hype for Crimes of Grindelwald died down about 10 months ago now, but I've still been rewatching it very often and thinking about it quite a lot, and I just really miss the whole community excitement feeling. And this is such a stupid thing to be rambling about, but I really just want to record my thoughts because it will be so much fun to look back on in a few years or weeks or months or whatever. I understand that Fantastic Beasts 3 needs to be done well because Crimes of Grindelwald underperformed, and that the whole cast needs to be around, but I'd like some updates. Like, the name would be brilliant, or just a tweet saying, oh, we've finished writing the script, we're starting pre-production in a couple of weeks, or something like that, because it just feels like there's radio silence. And it's almost a little bit scary in the sense that maybe they could have cancelled the whole thing without even telling us right now. I don't think they would have, because there's no information. It feels a little bit scary in that way. Obviously they don't owe us anything, but I'm just so incredibly excited for the future of the series that I want to know this. And it's sort of taking up a lot of my thinking recently that we're not getting the third movie in a year's time, but in 2 years, and that we don't have the title or the first look photo right now. And I'm just going around in circles, but I just needed to get my thinking out there. And there are still Harry Potter things to do, plenty of them. Warner Bros. Studio to London, Cursed Child, the parks, the touring Harry Potter display, Harry Potter, the one that tours around the world and started in Chicago in 2009. And lots of non-official Harry Potter things to do as well, quizzes and cafes and escape rooms and whatnot. But I'm just missing that community togetherness of waiting for the movies. I will also just put a little note in here about the whole Wizarding World thing right now. Pottermore is pretty much dead, which is a little bit sad. It's now Wizarding World, and there's a new sorting quiz and everything. Well, it's not a new sorting quiz, it's in a different order, and you can use your phone and its gyroscopic abilities. But I am quite excited about that, but it also seems more branded and separate from the fans and more professional in a way that's good, but also a little bit sad to see it become more distant in a way. Obviously Pottermore was never sort of run by fans or anything, but back when it was the old Pottermore, not even the one that just died, the one before that, it felt much more community based, and now it just sort of feels like a one-way street where they're just feeding us information and quizzes and we're not participating all that much. No. I'm sure I'll grow to love it and use it continuously anyway, but it is a little bit odd. That was a mess. If you enjoyed it at all, that's great. Thank you ever so much for watching the video. I will see you in the next one. Bye. So earlier this year, Pottermore announced it. So earlier